Hey, this is Mike. Thank you so much for choosing this video. Today I'm in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, visiting East Coast Honda, and I'm checking out a 2021 Honda HRV in the Sport trim level. This vehicle is sitting on 225/50 Continental tires wrapped around 18-inch alloy wheels with a matte black finish. It also has four-wheel disc brakes with ventilated rotors in the front and solid rotors in the back. The name of this color is Modern Steel Metallic. And it's on the dark side, I guess, as far as colors. It's like a dark gray. Hopefully you can see what it looks like here. And some of the features kind of blend into dark color. So let me just point out this piece here in the center, this right in here, is a smoked chrome. So that's not a gloss black. At first glance, you might think it's a gloss black piece right here, but that is a smoked chrome. You can see the difference between the regular chrome and the Honda emblem. Now below it is a gloss black for your grille, and at the very bottom. So down here is a gloss black. So you can see this extends here. It also extends on the side of the vehicle. I'll show you that in a minute. There's a daytime running light that's LED here in the front, but everything else is halogen. So the low beams are in a projector focused beam. The high beams are in a reflector. Turn signals are standard bulbs, and the fog lights are in a reflector, halogen standard bulbs. Taking a look at the profile, you can see the door handles are body colored, but the upper portion of the side mirror is a gloss black. Also, that gloss black that we saw in the front of the vehicle right here extends around the wheel wells and the base of the vehicle. So it's all a gloss black. Now typically that would be a protection for road debris, but in this case it's a gloss black, so it's actually going to show road debris and dirt and stuff like that, so keep that in mind. Now the pillars between the glass are a matte black, and it does have privacy glass in the back windows, so if you were to tint the front windows you can solidify that. Now the wheels being a matte black just kind of separates it from the gloss black around, so it kind of blends in just fine. This is what the key looks like, and it's basically just a standard retro style key. You put it in, turn the ignition, all that good stuff. So there's no proximity sensors or anything like that. Now it does have some useful buttons: lock, unlock, the ability to release the hatch in the back, and the panic button. So let's go ahead and push that panic button. Looking at the inside of the passenger side door, mostly black except for the chrome handle there. Now the upper portion of the door, all the way from here all the way up, all this is a cloth. So it's a soft touch cloth. It's not super cushy, but it is a soft touch. This is a vinyl type material, and it's soft touch as well. The rest of the door is a hard plastic. There's the three materials there. This is enclosed, so you can utilize that for a little storage space if you need to. And there's a bottle holder and a little storage area here. There's a little cover right here. It's pretty interesting because this is where you get to, there's some insulation underneath it, and you can access the serial number under here. So that's what that little thing is. Kind of a little interesting thing that kind of got my attention when I first opened up the door. Now this is a manually adjusted cloth seat here on the passenger side. You can see it's just a standard cloth. It does have some stitching there, a little bit of a pattern in the middle. Fairly comfortable seats. I mean, you get in them and they're just kind of more standard. Nothing really stands out as far as any exceptional feel or anything. Now here's the floorboard. You can see it's kind of limiting. So this part kind of gets in the way if you were to put your feet closer this way, if you have the seat all the way back. And then it has a little flat space, and then it steeply inclines. So so you kind of rest your feet on there and find the position that matches that. Otherwise it's going to be kind of either cramped or not a good position. So this is something that usually don't see this kind of small amount of space in vehicles, but it's really, the way they have it tapered is actually a benefit in this particular case. So that way your feet are just kind of have something to support them, and you're not cramped up too much. So you want to get in the vehicle, make sure it's going to have plenty of room for you and your passengers and stuff, but just keep this particular thing in mind as far as the leg room in this vehicle. So there is a glove compartment here, soft, smooth, not soft, but smooth plastic there on the inside. This is a hard touch surface. This is a soft kind of rubbery type material here, and then hard touch here at the top. There's a pass-through compartment here, which the driver and passenger can utilize, and there is some power supplies, USB and 12-volt power supplies here, in addition to a little storage space, which is kind of neat. This is a soft touch surface here, so if your leg is hitting that, which it shouldn't really too much, then it has at least a soft surface to rest on. The rear door handle is kind of blended in with this pillar, so it's pretty neat. Kind of makes it disappear in a way. All right, so when we open up the doors, you can see the front door is quite a bit wider, and you have lots of room here. The opening is good, the swing of the door is good. The back door, you have some little bit limited headroom right in here, but overall not too bad considering this is high up. The swing of the door could be a little bit wider, but overall it's not too bad for a vehicle for this size. This is actually pretty decent. So the back door, similar styling as the front. You have the cloth here at the top, and then the vinyl, and then the hard touch. Pretty much the same thing going on. So the back seat is basically a bench seat, but it's kind of neat because it has some features that help out with cargo space, and I'll show you that in just a minute. There is a pocket on the back of this seat, but not the driver's seat. There's a little storage compartment there and a 12-volt power supply, and then a relatively small hump in the center, which is nice. So there's no armrest or anything that folds down, no cup holders back here. There is the latch system for car seats. You can see the little latch right there. It's easy to get to. There's no covers or anything. Okay, so these seats, they fold down. So if you need some more cargo space in the trunk area, then you can fold this down, and the bottom portion folds down as well. See how that sandwiches down to try to give you as close to a level flat floor in the cargo space as possible. Okay, so that's the first trick of these seats. The second one is you simply lift this up and you push this down, and that locks it in place. So now you can utilize this for cargo space. Now you can see there's space underneath the seats as well, even if you have passengers back here. But so basically, depending on your needs as far as passenger space, you can have a combination of cargo and passenger here in this area as well as the trunk area. So really cool having that capability in a vehicle this size. So looking at the back, we'll go ahead and start with the top. So it has this metallic roof rails here and a shark fin antenna that's body colored. there at the top. Your third brake light is here at the top of the glass right here, and that's LED. You do have a rear wiper, and the tail lights are standard bulbs. The backup camera is quite a bit offset here, so it's right over here, and there we go, you can see a little bit better. So it's not in the center position. It's not too bad though, it's not super offset, but it is offset. Kind of looks a little tacked on to me. You have a little bit more of that smoked chrome back here, and more gloss black. The exhaust is visible, and it has a little chrome tip there, which is pretty neat. These are reflectors. These are not lights, those are reflectors. Okay, so we can, of course, use the key to release this hatch, but we can go ahead and push this button under here as well. And it releases it, and then you lift it up yourself. So if you have all the seats occupied with passengers, then this is your cargo space, which is pretty good amount, especially the height. You have a really good height in here, and just, you know, for the size of this vehicle, it's pretty dang good. And everything's carpeted. There is a single light here on the left side. That could be improved, I think. Should have some more lights in vehicles. Just in general, most vehicles are not very good, especially Hondas as far as the lighting. Some of them are better than others, but most of them aren't all that great, even if you spend a lot of money for some reason. So there's some tie downs there, tie down there. This lifts up, and this is just a kind of flimsy cover here. This lifts up, and then you can see your tools for your spare tire. There's a little bit more space to put some stuff. And then this foam lifts up, and that's where your actual spare tire is located. And like I mentioned, you can fold these seats down. It's a 60-40 split, so we've got a split right there. So we can fold down this seat or the other seat and add to our cargo space while still maintaining passenger space, or we can fold them both down and have a really wide open space, as much as you can possibly get basically in this vehicle. There's a locking fuel door, and it's here on the driver's side, so that's convenient. It has a traditional cap, tether, and a place to hang the cap right here on the inside of the door. So it has a traditional key, so let's go ahead and start it up. Here's the floorboard in front of the driver's seat. Now the floor mats are not in place, but it does have places for them to hook in, keeping it from sliding it around. These also have these pretty cool pedals with raised rubber grips on them, aluminum pedals. You also have a footrest here that is pretty good size and is protected with a hard plastic. All right, let's take a look under the hood. To open the hood, there is a latch a little bit to the left of center. So here's the center line right here. It's a little bit to the left. You reach in, move it to the right, and lift up. So you can see there's the latch. The hood has a little bit of weight to it, so it feels like a steel hood. And it requires a prop to hold it up. There's the prop, and it swings up to that place where the arrow is pointing. The under portion of the hood has some insulation there. There's also a seal across the back of the engine compartment, and this helps out with mostly airflow, but also noise as well. Insulated firewall and an insulated battery. That's easy to get to. Has one of those half style batteries. And the engine isn't covered up with a big plastic cover. It just has this Little cover right there, hard plastic. You can actually see the coil packs here. 1, 2, 3, 4 goes into the engine where the spark plugs are located. The intake is here in the back, the exhaust is here in the front. So the heat from the exhaust is competing with the cooling system. So that's probably usually not a big deal, but that's something to consider. So this is a 1.8 liter VTEC, iVTEC 4-cylinder engine, pumping out 141 horsepower, and is paired to a CVT, continuously variable transmission. The inside of the driver's side door is just like the other side, except for it has a few more buttons. So there's the power windows. The only one that's one touch up and down is the driver one, so we can lift it up and it'll go by itself. Door lock controls, side mirrors are adjusted here. So the driver has a manual seat just like the passenger, except for there's one difference. It has a height adjustment. So you have the ability to raise and lower the seat. Other than that, it's basically the same seat. To the left of the steering column, there's a few buttons here. It has an Econ button, so that way you can turn that on to get a little bit better gas mileage. This is traction control off. Default would be on, but if you need to spin tires, you turn it off. This button is to reset your tire pressure monitoring system. So that's the only reason why you'd want to do that. So if you need to, like in the winter time, the light turns on, you put air in the tire and you just reset it here. So that way it just turns that light off for you once you put the appropriate pressure in the tires. So it has a tilt and a telescoping steering column, and you lock it in place here. So it's kind of far down in there. You just reach in, pull it to release it, and push it to secure it. I'm sitting in the driver's seat checking it out, and I have the seat all the way back and all the way down, and I'm 6 feet tall, just to give you an idea of the potential legroom here. So this is a soft touch surface, but really I've got plenty of knee room here. So it's not really a big deal as far as where my knees touch. Now it depends on the person, of course. I would probably have the seat all the way back, being 6 feet tall. Just the nature of it. And it has the angle of the footrest is similar to the floorboard in the passenger side. So basically you have just like this big footrest over there. So it's kind of a good idea. Alright, so looking at the steering wheel, it's a leather wrap steering wheel, has decent thickness, and it's a little bit soft, but not that soft. It is more on the harder side as far as steering wheels go. You have a lot of gloss black here inside the vehicle, so here on the steering wheel it has gloss black, has this little, you can see this little holes right in here, looking pretty neat. Here on the right side is your cruise control, so it's pretty standard. You turn it on here, set, resume, and cancel, so that's pretty traditional. Now it has paddle shifters, so you can see they're gloss black and they are behind the steering wheel. I don't know if you can see that, but this vehicle doesn't have gears, so it's a CVT transmission, but it simulates gears, so you can cycle through the speed ratios if you need to. This is handy for downshifting, especially going down hills or something. Bluetooth controls are down here. You have voice recognition as well, so you can answer, hang up, and voice recognition. Now this button, this is a back button, and that goes along with some of the information here on the screen. I'll get to that in just a minute. Volume for your radio is here, so you can see your volume, change through your tracks, change your audio source, and then you have these buttons right here, and I'll get to that in just a minute. Alright, so your windshield wiper controls are here on the right side, and the turn signal is over here on this side, but you also have your headlight controls as well. So the headlights, there is just regular, so off, parking light, and headlight. Fog lights are controlled here, so there's no automatic function here. All right, so there's your gauges, and they're pretty simple. White letters, black background, easy to focus on, easy to see and make out. You have your RPMs here on the left side, your speedometer there in the center. Here on the right side, you have your fuel gauge, also fuel economy gauge there at the top, a clock, the odometer, trip, and outside temperature. And so this trip, there's this button right here. So we can push that and have the range and the average fuel economy also cycle into your trip B. So there's two trips that you can independently reset. Oil life, and then it goes back here. If you want to reset the trip, you just press and hold it, and it resets it. So that's how you control it with this knob here. Alright, so these buttons on the steering wheel, we'll get to those in a minute. So these correspond with the screen. Alright, so your four-way flashers are here, and then you have the touch screen and a physical volume knob. Soft touch buttons here, has a clock. So let's go to the home button here, so you can have all the selections that you can go to. And so let's go first to the audio, because this is a radio primarily. And so we can change the audio source here. So Bluetooth, Pandora, AM, FM, USB, and iPod. And so we'll stick with the FM. We have presets there at the bottom and the information about what's playing. And let's go to this menu button so we can adjust the sound. And then we can go into settings. Let's go to, well, the settings here as well. And then you have information. This is about the vehicle. Drive computer. So these buttons over here on the steering wheel, let's go ahead and push. This is for the menu. So you notice it has the same icon as the menu on the screen. And then this one is to make selections. So we can push that button. So if we're in the radio screen, we can push that pages button and choose the one you want. In this particular vehicle, there's only two selections, so it's just the phone or the radio. So if you're in the radio, you can go to the phone this way, or if you're in the phone, you can go to the radio this way. And you just rest on the one you want. Alright, so down here is the climate control, and it's pretty basic. Temperature. So there's the temperature, fan speed, and where you want the air to blow. You can turn on the air conditioner, you can recirculate the air, and then you have a rear defroster. So that's pretty basic for a modern vehicle, but it's easy to use, that's for sure. Alright, so there's the shifter, and has a big button on the side. Let's go ahead and put it in reverse. When we do that, the backup camera will pop up here. And the backup camera has different views. So we have wide view, a more linear view, and then like a top-down view. Alright. Neutral, drive, sport mode. And don't forget, you can use the paddle shifters to select through the speed ratios. Alright, electronic parking brake. You lift it up to engage it, engages the rear wheels. To disengage it, you push and hold the brake and push it down. It also has a brake hold feature in which you push that and it'll hold the vehicle's brakes for you when you're sitting at a stoplight or a traffic jam, that kind of thing. Until you push the accelerator, it'll just sit there and hold itself, as long as that is turned on. Okay, so here's the armrest, and it's not very soft. It's kind of rubbery, hard, soft, I guess you could say. It's not cushy soft, but at least it's not a hard touch surface. It is kind of hard, but it does give a little bit. So we can move this back like so. We can also lift it up, and there's a compartment back here to put some stuff. Goes in there quite a ways. Then there's more of a shallow space here, so you can quick access stuff put there. And then this is pretty interesting. It's a little bit unique. So it has these shallow cup holders here, and you can, these dividers, you can move out of the way and utilize this bigger space. You can also push down on these and have a much taller cup holder space. So you can have one or the other, or both, like so. And then you can take this divider out if you want to, and utilize this space for more than just cups. So, pretty interesting and unique. If you want to pop these back out, push that, and there's a button over here, push that, and it brings you back to the shallow spot. Has a manual day and night mode for the rearview mirror. And up here, there's some tap lights. The visors are a cloth, just like the headliner. Or the headliner is more like a felt cloth, and this is more like a more rougher cloth. And it has a mirror, but no lights. This does extend out. There's no clips or anything on it. It's pretty basic. Basically the same thing on the passenger side. Okay, so let's look at the visibility in the back. Has some pillars back there, but not a big deal. You know, they are kind of wide. You will have to get used to them, like any other vehicle, but it's the way it looks like. See if you can live with that. I think it's all right. Well, you do have the backup camera to help you out. Alrighty, thank you for watching, and thank you to East Coast Honda here in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, and I'll see you guys next time.